Hello, we're back here at Mistakes and Mistakes. You all know who it is I'm at. So, I'm going to dive right into this series, the new series I'm starting here. The History of Hip Hop Volume 1. Starting out here with the Sugar Hill Gang. And the reason I'm calling it Volume 1 is we're going to start from the beginning of rap, hip hop, which starts at 79, and maybe go to 85 or 86. And the reason I want to do that is because there's a couple of side stories I want to take in that area that I kind of want to explore, and I kind of want to do some parallel stuff with it. So one of the side stories that happens in this era is not just rap battles, but something that hasn't really happened in music as a whole that often, which is in hip hop or rap music, there's the rap and then there's the answer rap. So some of y'all might remember Roxanne, I Want to Be Your Man. And that there was a girl group, and I gotta look up who this was, that did an answer rap to it called Roxanne Shante. I remember that as a kid going, oh no, like it was a big deal because you didn't hear that in music. My perspective as a fan is a little skewed because I am from the South. And so being from the deep South, we get everything like super late. So, like I grew up with hip hop on the radio a little bit, but it wasn't, especially on what are traditionally now, I guess, called R&B stations. They play a lot of R&B, but it's not like the R&B you hear now. Because like you'd hear like the Commodores and Lionel Richie and at a weird point the Georgia Satellites, because that became a crossover hit. But then you would hear like Rapper's Delight. And so there was a lot of that going on. So everything was kind of stuttered for me as a fan, as a connoisseur, and as just a music person in general. So the other thing that happens, other than the answer rap and the rap battle, is that hip hop begins to expand. You don't get like Southern rappers until after Two Live Crew. You don't really get Midwestern rappers, I think. And I might be wrong. This is why it's a journey for both me and you, because I'm researching this as I'm discovering it. So there are a bunch of claims that I'm probably going to make in the beginning of this thing that are going to get proven wrong over time, and that's okay. I don't remember there being a bunch of Midwestern rap people or rap groups or rap artists, maybe until like the mid-90s. But I could be wrong, but I know that Curtis Blow, for example, was literally, when you're going to find out this out in a second, was literally on the same label as Sugar Hill Gang. So we're Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5, and that's going to be the next group we're going to cover after this retrospective. So we did 10 songs on this deal, and let me give you a little bit of background, a little historiography. So the Sugar Hill Gang is the first rap group who has the first rap song to enter the U.S. Top 100. So rap music had been around. Some of this information is courtesy of Song Facts. Some of this information is also going to be courtesy of, let me give everybody their credit. It's going to be courtesy of Black Past. So we're going to start from Song Facts. Outside of the Bronx at this time, rap was generally kind of considered a fad. And it basically was the outgrowth of block parties and discos where DJs are going to loop break beats and MCs are going to add live vocals. And this is basically the template of hip hop. And it's the beginning of this group. The Sugar Hill Gang is comprised of Mike Wright, Wonder Mike, Henry Jackson, Big Bank Hank, and Guy O'Brien, who's known as Master G, all from Inglewood, New Jersey. This is courtesy of Black Past. Wright, Jackson, O'Brien are discovered and signed to Sugar Hill Records, which is why they get the name the Sugar Hill Gang, by a music producer named Sylvia Robinson. Now, she actually, as a musician in her own right, has a minor hit in 73 with the song Pillow Talk. And she was half of this group called Mickey and Sylvia. They had a 1956 hit called Love is Strange, and she discovered rap music, quote, because her kids likes it, and she's her business savvy to make money off of it. She found them at a party. Like, she found them and like decided to sign them at this party she went to. The Fatback Band used the original beat on the song called Kim Tim 3. This is important because it's another template of the entire history of hip hop. The Fatback Band creating this original beat, which is the bass line that's used on Rapper's Delight. They didn't clear it. They didn't get any. They didn't ask for any permission to use it. The beat that plays throughout, that beat from the Fatback Band was basically used by a band called Chick. The reason Chick is important is because a lot of people know who Nile Rodgers is. Well, Chick wrote this song called "Good Times," which is where most of the song of Rapper's Delight takes its beat from. And that's really because Good Times was in the crate of a lot of MCs back in the day when they would go to block parties. And it was just an easy, perfect song for MCs to rap over. Queen, now Sugar Hill Gang's not the first to borrow this song. Queen used the bass line and another one, Bites the Dust. The problem for the Sugar Hill Gang is they didn't just sample the beat. They used the string stab. Like, they basically take the pieces of Good Times to create a new song off of it. Way down the line, in like the middle of the 80s, early 90s, this becomes a focal point in courtrooms in this genre. Like, this is early Ed Sheeran. If you want to go back to my news report from the other day. Like, or some would argue, early Led Zeppelin. But I digress. So, Good Times is written by Chick guitarist Nile Rodgers and bass player Bernard Edwards. And when Nile Rodgers heard Rapper's Delight for the first time, because he was out of the club and the DJ played it, he pretty much went home and called his lawyer, which I don't blame him. So they sued. Originally, Sylvia Robinson and the three rappers were listed as songwriters. Now only the composers are listed. The only composers listed are Rodgers and Edwards, who receive all the songwriting royalties that the song brings in. Edwards' share goes to his estate because he died in '96. So it's another situation where, like Juice WRLD's song that uses "Shape of My Heart" by Sting, and rest in peace, because I think he killed himself a couple of years ago, but all the royalties from that song go right into Sting's pocket. But Sylvia Robinson had met Sugar Hill Gang at a New Jersey party, at a block party, because her son was a big fan of theirs, and he found them. They put them together. There's a bunch of different mixes of Rapper's Delight. The original 12-inch single went on for 14 minutes and 27 seconds. The radio edit is 4:55, but it takes out a bunch of the other what become themes of hip hop, which is all the bragging and some of the Superman and the Bad Meal stories, and just verses of unresolved metaphors, like Perry Mason without a case, or like Farrah Fawcett without her face, which is actually a line from one of the later minutes of the original cut of Rapper's Delight. It's long. Like, I tried listening to it, and I'm rubbing my eyes because it's one of those songs that will bring you boredom and want to put you to sleep, because there's nothing. It doesn't feel like there's anything to it when you listen to like the entire version. Now they have a couple of other hits. Apache, which is another song on this mixtape that you cannot do today. I'm an anti-presentism person, so I'm one of them. And what presentism is that when you judge a historical event or a song or a book by modern standards. And so from a modern standards point, from an anti-presentist point of view, from a cancel culture point of view, you couldn't get Apache made today. There are actually 4 songs, I think 3 or 4 songs on this mixtape that if you try to redo them today, I don't think you get those made. But I want to talk about a little bit of the reach of the Sugar Hill Gang and how, because I'm at 10 minutes, so I'm gonna try to cut this up a little bit, like condense the end. So, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five are also on Sugar Hill Records. And the end of this mixtape is a song called Showdown, which is a rap battle between these two groups. To show you kind of the reach of how, because hip hop was way bigger in England and way bigger in Europe, for example, than it was in the United States when it first got on the scene. Curtis Blow and African Bambaataa had #1 records in England, and so did Blondie. Blondie ended up being the first white act to chart with a rap when they hit #1 with Rapture in 1980. Curtis Blow was huge in England before he broke big over here. But there are two other modern or semi-modern things I want to talk about, show you that how, as we go through this series, how hip-hop influenced other parts of music culture and how music culture ended up being changed and interpreted and propelled by hip-hop. So Kid Rock's Ball with the Bada is actually a rework of the beginning bars of Rapper's Delight. Hip hop, hibbity to the hibbity, don't stop. That part, the Ball with the Bada as the beginning of that hook is a rework of that song. And I believe that's credited, I think, in the liner notes. But to show you how big hip hop was overseas, and I'm going to include the video to this song in the description box of this commentary. I didn't know until about 5 minutes ago that the group Wham, George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley, started out as a rap group. Oh, you think I'm kidding? You're hearing me, you're like, wait, Wham was a rap group? Yes, Wham was a rap group. They had a #8 hit in the UK with the song Wham Rap, Enjoy What You Do. Now the problem is that you're thinking about it, you're like, that doesn't sound right. And it's not going to sound right. It's going to sound like mid-80s party rap, which is a lot of what early hip-hop is. But there's a couple of points in that song where you can kind of hear that group isn't doing what they should be doing. And that's kind of why I wanted to just end it right here with that, showing you how the genre as a whole kind of makes other people. And so in a way, kind of without hip-hop, you wouldn't have Father Figure, or you wouldn't have Freedom 90. So like, you'd be surprised where the soil of something starts and it builds something else. Something that might be great. And so the Sugar Hill Gang, and the birth of hip-hop in general in 1979 is responsible for a lot of things culturally. And so that's where we're going to end this beginning of this retrospective. Enjoy the mixtape. The next group we're going to cover, which is going to be the next part of this story, is Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. The message is probably easily the hip-hop song that defined my view of the world as a kid. And I always looked at, I'm about to talk about it when I get there. I'm about to talk about it when I get there. It's much more personal than I thought it was going to be when I look back on that song and whatnot. But peace and Afro Grease. Let me know what you think. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe this video. And we're going to get back to other things on the channel. But I wanted to start this series because I've been working on it for way too long. I had to finally just release it. So, peace and Afro Grease. Bye.